Hello friends, and welcome to this Facebook Live session with me, Krishangi Radhe. I am an NLP practitioner, timeline therapist, and women and child empowerment coach, and I'd like to welcome you to this live session this afternoon. It's unannounced. I have not put it up as an event on my page, but I hope that you do catch it, or if not, then it will be saved on my page, Sankalpa Coaching with Krishangi Radhe, or you could catch it as a replay. But just tell me where in the world you're watching from and tell me #replay so that I know that you've watched and shared in this afternoon. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm also going to share on my other page so that we could reach as many people as we possibly can. And the benefit of live video or social media live is that we can have real-time conversation. And I think many of you, or many around the world, have taken to this time to connect via social media and to share. It's a time where we've spent here in South Africa 21 days under lockdown. It's not something that we are familiar with. It's actually something that the world is facing at the moment, where we are all together fighting this pandemic, and together we stand as one, and we use the power of social media, we use the power of media on a whole, where we can connect with family and friends and loved ones through this difficult time. Why I'm checking in with you right now this afternoon is because if you are in South Africa, or if you have been following South African news, you would know that today actually was meant to be the end of our lockdown before the extension was announced by our state president. And for right reasons, of course. Logically speaking, we need to flatten the curve, we need to take extra precautions, and we need to actually be safe. And I think the entire world is going through the same kind of mindset at the moment, where we'd rather be safe than risk anything else. If you look at it holistically, it's about our safety. So this afternoon, I'm coming in to talk to you, and I'm just going to try and share this live video onto my other pages at the same time. So if you would give me a moment to do that, so we can reach as many people as we can whilst we are on the live. And if you would like to comment, if you would like to share your thoughts with me, please do so, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, because that is what this is all about. It's about sharing, and it's about me getting in touch with you as a coach, where I can help you go through this. And when we talk about mindset, we talk about the power of mind. That is what I'm here to talk to you about. So for many of us around the world, lockdown has been extended. I know India is facing the same kind of challenge, and many people find that, okay, so today we had framed our mind, framed our thoughts, where tomorrow our day would look brighter. We'd be able to go out and chat with family and friends and try and get back to some sort of normality as we know it. However, unfortunately, the reality is that we have to reframe those thoughts, and we have to reframe our mind to actually now embrace another 14 days, if that's what it's going to be 14 days only. So my tip for you is tip number 1. I like to look at something that's called the brain dump. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, or if you practice it, if you know about it. Tell me in the comments if you do. Okay, so when we look at all our fears and all our anxieties, or things that are currently troubling us, we write it down on paper. That's what we're looking at. So when you're taking it from the mind, when you're taking it from the brain, and you're actually putting it on paper, we're calling it, just transferring that so you could see it visually on paper. And what happens there, it's you kind of eradicating it from your subconscious mind, you eradicating it from your inner thoughts, and you transferring it on a visual stimuli where you can see it. So when you see it, it becomes far more, okay, if I've written this as an anxiety or this as a fear, it's something where when you see it, it's not as devastating as it is when you are normally just seeing it on your mind. right? Or seeing it, or feeling those emotions. So when we actually dump it on paper, a brain dump is a loose term, but when we do this on paper, we become far more visual, and we can strike it off and say, this is what I'm feeling anxious about, this is what I'm feeling fearful about, and actually it's not really worth those fears. At the moment we are feeling fearful, and that's fine, because of the simple reason that we are embracing a situation that we are not comfortable with. We are embracing a situation that is not new, it's new to us. We are embracing a situation, we are trying to embrace uncertainty, especially when it comes to our work, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to our children and schooling, and there's so much of uncertainty that's now embroiled in our mind. So how we going to reframe those thoughts are what's important. And drop me a comment, tell me who's watching. I see I've got quite a few people on the live with me this afternoon. I'd love to hear where in the world you're watching, and how is this pandemic affecting you? How have you managed to tackle quarantine or lockdown, as we're calling it here in South Africa and other parts of the world? What has been some of your mindset challenges? What are the things or the fears, the real fears that you are dealing with at the moment? Please share your comments with me, and I'll be happy to also answer as many questions as I can during the session. So for one, transfer those thoughts, those feelings onto paper. That makes it a little bit more palatable and a little bit more understandable, so that you can easily eradicate it and work with what's in your control and what's out of your control. Because worry stems from things that are mostly out of our control. When we're looking at things that are beyond our control, or not physically something that we can make a difference and we can change, then our energy is actually directed into something that's not going to be worthy. We spend so much of time in anxiety. We spend so much of time worrying. We could be worrying about our business at the moment. We could be worrying about our salaries at the moment. Those are real issues, but how much of it can we control? That's what we need to ask ourselves. I know a lot of parents, and I'm writing a series of articles at the moment that's dealing with homeschooling and working from home. It's a very new concept to South Africans. I think for many in the world, but especially here in South Africa, it's quite a new concept, and many parents are feeling the stress of their children being at home and not getting that education. How much of it can you control though? So when you're putting this on paper, you are actually going to be able to engage whether I can control this, and if I can, then map out how are you going to release or help those fears and anxieties. The second one is keep going and keep learning. So tip number 2 for the next 14 days, keep going and keep learning. You know, we can find ourselves in a position where we could either be stuck and feeling that we are in a really stuck state. And how many of you have been feeling that way right now? That you are in a stuck state, that you are in a stuck situation, that you cannot do as much as you'd like to. You need to release that. And the only way that you really can release that is by actually moving away from that stuck mindset. Hi Tish, thanks for joining. Moving away from that mindset, moving away from being stuck in a situation where you're going to reframe and say, within the home environment, within the quarantine, within the lockdown, what can I learn and what can I grow in? So of course, sometimes you're going to be feeling I'm having an off day. And that's fine, because our emotions are such, right? Sometimes we're dealing with work pressures and homeschooling at the same time. It may not be a great day, but how you're going to repurpose, how you're going to reframe is what's important. I've spent a lot of time over the past 21 days growing, doing personal growth. You know, I ran a program, a free online training for moms that took us 4 days, looking at real stuff in terms of how we serve our children, how we serve our family, but most importantly, how we serve and how we love ourselves as moms the most. So that was a lot of self-growth in the process. I had a beautiful group of mums with me on my live training, and I will share the link after the live under the comment section here. All my replays to that training is saved in that private group, and you are welcome, if you're a mum who would like to learn more, to go and watch those replays of those live trainings. There's a wealth of information as well as notes saved under in that private group right here on Facebook. So keep going, keep learning. Keep going also means movement. I'm lucky I have a lot of space around me in terms of a beautiful garden, so we can keep going and keep learning and keep moving within our home. Whatever it is, don't lose focus of being in your PJs the entire day. Now, if you have a really positive start to your morning, if you start in a very positive way where you're going to be productive, and again, I'm going to qualify that by saying that not all days are going to be 100%. You know, this is very new to us. We are in a crisis situation. We're trying our best to heal the world collectively. So therefore, what could happen is that you're going to have off days, but reframe those thoughts and getting up early, doing simple things as yoga, as meditation, is some fun exercises with your children if you're at home with them. Do that, and it kind of just releases all that energy. And I see I've got Mohit watching. Please tell me who you are, where in the world, how is this lockdown treating you? And tell me what are the challenges are you facing? Because I know that many of us are having real issues in terms of, or challenges in terms of how we're reframing for the next 14 days that we're going on. So the next one is, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but I thought reinforcement is also great. No season can last forever. And that even is the 4 seasons of the world. You know, no seasons that we experience on an annual basis is going to last forever. This too is not going to last forever. This too is going to be a time that we are going to pass. We are still going to connect with our family, our friends, and our loved ones. Welcome, Renette. And so when it comes to that, you know, we are going to be looking at how can we make these times within our home more meaningful. A lot of the children who are experiencing lockdown or this COVID-19 in the year 2020 do not really understand the impact of it all. What they will understand is what the home environment felt and looked like for them. When they go back in history and years to come, when they reflect on this time, they will understand, you know, my mom or my dad was stressed. They would understand this is what was going on. They may not know the stats and the figures and about flattening the curve completely right now, but what they will pick up is your energy that you offer the home. So that's what I'd also like to share with you, that always at the back of your mind, bear in mind that this season too shall pass, but how we wait it out, what our interactions with ourself is at the moment is what's going to count in the long run. I'm a great believer of self-talk. That's not really quite affirmations, because affirmations are more when you look at yourself in the mirror or you continuously Rohan, thanks for joining. Ronette, thanks for joining. So when we look at, you know, the mirror and we give us positive talk, that's more affirmation. But self-talk is in our mind. You know, if I could be sitting here and I could be doing this live, you could be in your home watching this live, but there's so many other things that are happening in your mental mindset, right? In your mind space. So when you stop and you pause and you then realize, I have to take charge of my thoughts, and you have to talk to yourself, your self-talk, more than anything, depending on others to lift your spirits. That's what self-talk about. I am a huge believer, and studies have shown that being your best friend, especially in the times like now, is what's essential to pull us through, right? Mentally, and able, where we are able to keep positivity. So what we're looking at is some days we have high days and some days we have low days. Welcome, Charlotte. I'm so glad you're watching. Thirumala, welcome. So we have high days and we have low days. We have what goes up must come down. And that's it's a natural phenomenon. However, what we want is we want to achieve this kind of plateau where we can have that on a constant basis. How do we do that? We don't criticize ourselves. We don't judge. We all make mistakes. We all have bad days, and that's fine. And especially now, during this time of real uncertainty, of real challenges, we just have to be an extra kinder to ourselves. We have to use that self-talk to our benefit at the moment. So remember, through conscious living, my next tip, through conscious living and living in the moment, we could fear what's going to happen tomorrow. We could fear what's going to happen. Is there going to be another big announcement in 7 days? We could fear what's going to be happening when the world comes to normality, whatever that may look like, right? Those are all genuine fears. But living consciously in the moment, and I write a column that's published weekly in our newspaper here in Durban. It's called Conscious Living, right? So by living consciously on a daily basis, we are able to live in the moment. And one of the greatest actual benefits of conscious living is offering gratitude, whatever that may look like and feel like for you. Offering gratitude is so important in being grounded in the moment, in living consciously, in being conscious of your relationships, of your loving relationships, of your relationships with friends and family, of taking cognizance right now at this time where you can reach out in a manner that is meaningful. And I'm going to divert to the next tip, which is closely linked to this current one, where we're talking about relationships. Reaching out, I'm an advocate for reaching out and connecting, checking in on phone or social media, whatever, on your family and friends, but also be mindful of that engagement. Also be mindful of who's bringing in a lot of negative energy. There could be relationships that you have that bring you down or make you feel that you are down. Anuradha, welcome. Tell me your thoughts on this also, and let's engage on this topic. We could have relationships that bring us down, that automatically, if I pick up the phone and I phone somebody just to check in, and they go complaining, I'm having such a bad time in quarantine, and I wish it could be like this, or my kids are troubling me. And as much as you want to, good morning from the USA. Yes, thank you, my friend, for joining. It's afternoon here in South Africa, and my live is about reframing our thoughts, because today was going to be our day in South Africa where lockdown for 21 days was going to end, but we're heading for another 14 days. So I'm just looking at mindset and how we reframe those thoughts in terms of turning into positive energy and positive self-talk, so we can actually tackle the next 14 days that lie ahead. Thank you for watching, and also share your comments. So when we look at that kind of negative energy to a person that we're speaking about, yes, of course, we want to help. We want to give them some courage. We want to spread our positivity. We want to share our energy. We want to share our gratitude. But if you find that that's pulling you down, then you need to actually self-preserve your own mindset in the process, especially when it comes to difficult times like this. We need to really look after ourselves, not only our physical health, that means, but also our emotional, our mental state. We really need to spend a little bit more time connecting consciously. And where does it start? It starts with ourselves. Okay, so I'm also looking at, when we make mistakes, when we look at the time of days that are we haven't been productive. So if you're not productive today, so you're not productive. You know, there's nothing attached to it at the moment. Everybody's trying to survive. However that works for you, and whatever works within your home is what's important. If somebody's doing this on social media, if they are posting their most fabulous meal that they've prepared, or their exercise routine, or their home looks absolutely beautiful after a home makeover, and that's great. Charlene, welcome. And that's great. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to feel pressured to follow suit. What's important is that we get through it. What's important is that this season will also pass. But how do we come out of it as better human beings, as kinder individuals, as those who are going to offer not only ourselves, not only our family and friends, but also the world at large a little bit more love. We may be stuck at the moment, if you want to use that word, but it's time for introspection. And that conscious living, once again, comes with the power of gratitude, the power of being grateful for simple pleasures. I have done a short video, which I will post within the next few days, about, you know, the benefit of the energy of the sun, Surya, or the sun that we know it in English, you know, and the energy that's offered where it connects with your soul. Hi, Charlene. And it connects with your soul, and you can use that energy. You can take advantage right now of that energy by going out every morning and basking in the glory of the sun. We may not be able to live our lives as we know it before, but this is not a bad thing where we are now introspecting. And this is actually a time where we can connect, a time that, you know, has never been offered to us in terms of offering that our self-love, our self-talk, time for growth, time to embrace what we would never have time to do. So within the next 14 days, and I've got quite a few of my South African friends who are watching, and even if you are in the other parts of the world, use this time to grow, you know. And some days may just be not as happy as the other days, but by your positive energy, by your self-talk, by maintaining good mental and emotional health, that's what's going to pull you through. I would also like, I haven't made this as my notes, but I'd also like to talk very briefly about something that's has been on my mind for a while. And I know that many people, especially under lockdown, and when we talk about introspection, when we talk about gratitude, when we're talking about alone time for growth, you may be also dealing with some emotion that you've never had time to deal with before because life was busy. Or you found that you want to busy your days because you are carrying some sort of pain and some sort of hurt, some sort of trauma, some sort of something that's deep within your consciousness. And perhaps you had that network of support. You had family and friends around you that would be able to nurture you along. And now that you are introspecting more, now that you find you have this time more, those deep hidden emotions may surface, right? Pravina, thank you. So those deep hidden emotions may surface. And how we deal with that is very important. As a mindset coach, as an NLP practitioner, it is times like this that I can tell you where most often our hurt and our pain now surfaces. Whatever that may look like for you, it's a possibility where we could, through all this introspection, those things could come up. And we have to know how to deal with it. So if you are finding that you have these negative emotions that you haven't dealt with previously, I wouldn't get to the technicality of that on this live because it's quite a specific topic, but you are most welcome to drop me a message on my page, Sankalpa Coaching with Krishangi Radhe, and we could talk more privately about that. I do not want to to offer just this positivity and this positive mindset without dealing with a real issue. People are also by themselves, and it's not an easy time when you're alone. It's not an easy time when you can only reach out on social media for so much, okay? Mohammed, thank you. So when we look at that, when we look at those deep-rooted emotions that may never have surfaced before because life just happened, it may now come up. And this is the time that you need to delve in. This is the time that is offered to reach out and share those problems. Reach out and share those emotions, whether it's with a coach, whether it's with a professional, whether it's with a trusted family member, but do not ever think that you are alone. Especially when it comes to negative emotions, especially when it comes to deep-rooted emotions that we've been carrying with us. So those are my top tips that I would like to share with you this afternoon in terms of reframing the thoughts, reframing the mindset. And just to quickly recap, we're looking at the brain dump. We're looking at taking all those thoughts that you have early in the morning and putting it on paper, having all those thoughts, directed into paper. When you have the paper and that list in front of you, it just looks and feels more real. Then you can actually make a column to say what you're in control of, what you're not in control of. The things that you are not in control of, you then have to let that go. That could be the economy, that could be job worries, that could be whatever it looks like at the moment. And those things that you are in control of, then of course, you make that plan. You make that plan to make it work for you. The second one was keep going and keep learning, keep moving. Whatever space you have within your home, just keep active at something, be it a family affair, be it a self-study program, an online course. Keep the brain active. And the more we sit and we twiddle around and we wait for time and days to pass, the more it becomes a long haul. But rather, if we're looking at just keep learning and keep growing, yes, again, I'm going to say some high days, some low days we want to achieve where we can just be, and that is super important. The third one I looked at is your positive self-talk, being your best friend in keep moving and keeping positive is the key. Absolutely. Srinathji, welcome to the live. So when we're looking at the highs and lows and maintaining, this beautiful plateau where you wake up in the morning, you have that positive energy, you go outside, you bask in the sun, even if it's within your own confines of a flat or an apartment, use that energy that's given to you by Surya. Use the energy of nature. Connect on that level. So look at that self-talk as being, Mariska, welcome to the live. So when you're using that self-talk as your own best friend, connect with your emotions, feel, accept your flaws, embrace those days that may not be as good as others, and just connect and be kind and be good to yourself, because what energy you have actually exuberates through the home. So if you're going to be down and if you feel that you are having a down day, then I invite you to do this. I invite you, Prema Priya, welcome to the live. I invite you to actually self-talk and pull yourself up, use whatever. If there's one thing, okay, let me give you one other tip. If there's one thing when you are having a down day, and that is real, if you are having a down day, do one thing that could change your mindset. One thing, whether it's connecting with a friend, whether it's journaling, whether it's meditating just a little bit more than you normally, whether it's just sitting outside and enjoying a quiet moment. Do that one thing that's going to uplift your spirit. Instead of dwelling on things that are not going right, things that are out of my control, things that I wish I could change, but is not happening at the moment, you do that one thing for yourself where it can change your mood, it can change your focus. Remember too, as I said, that every season has a beginning and every season has an end. It's what we put in at the moment that's going to make our season end, whichever part in the world you are, which is going to make our season end a little bit faster, a little bit more safely, a little bit more quicker, so we can then connect with those loved ones that we miss at the moment. So as much as physical health is super important at the moment, but taking care of your emotional health, taking care of your mental health, reaching out when you need help, there's nothing wrong. There's no weakness attached. I must emphasize, there's no weakness attached to reaching out to family and friends if you're feeling alone. There's no weakness attached if you want to talk to somebody about something that's going on in your mental mindset at the moment. There's no weakness attached to dealing with negative emotions by working with a coach, talking to a professional, trying to journal more about it. And the greatest gift of conscious living that has been offered to us at this moment is the power of gratitude, the power of being grateful for every day, the power of being grateful for even your small space, if that's all you have at the moment. You know, it's the power of safety, and it's the power of gratitude, where we are given this opportunity to help save so many other lives by staying at home, by reframing those thoughts, by saying, I am grateful. I am given this opportunity by staying at home that I can save so many other lives out there. Not only myself, but just reframing. Kamala Sundari, welcome and congratulations on your new baby. So just by changing that mindset, by actually reframing that thought of I'm stuck here at home and I wish I could go out and carry on with my normal duties, it's actually just embracing the value that you are bringing to the world at the moment by staying safe, staying home, practicing proper hygiene, and using this time to connect with your inner self, using this time to grow, using this time to learn, using this time to make the home space meaningful. And lastly, no comparison with others on social media. We are all at the moment, delving into social media at so many levels to keep abreast with the news, to keep abreast with friends, to connect in groups, to share live videos like this and so on. And it's a wonderful space if we are using it positively. So if you, again, I'm going to say that if you're seeing something beautiful happening in somebody else's home, you do not have to feel that you need to up your game in any way. Whatever works for you, however you're going to get through this time in your home with your family, or if you're alone, that's what you need to focus on. Your self-growth, your self-empowerment, and keeping your mental health as well as your physical health in check every day. And I will share the link to that private Facebook group where I had 4 days of live training for mums, where we called it positive parenting. And I'm happy to connect with you privately if you are dealing with negative emotions that have come up within this lockdown or quarantine period. Trauma is such where our mindset may be not really settled from things that we've experienced in the past. And in times like this, it surfaces because we have quieter days. So therefore, you're welcome to inbox me, and please, I'll ask you to share this video if it's going to help others that you know. Comment, what are your thoughts about these tips that I've shared? I'm also constantly updating on a daily basis my page. If you have not followed already, Sankalpa Coaching with Krishangi Radhe. I have a YouTube channel, which I'll put all the handles down at the bottom of this live. If you haven't already, there's a wealth of information, there's a wealth of blog posts in terms of NLP, my neuro-linguistic programming side of my coaching, my timeline therapy side, as well as my education background, being a teacher, being a mom. There's so many hats that I wear, but my passion lies in terms of my coaching. My passion lies in terms of empowerment of women and children. So if you feel the need to reach out, we are here. You can drop a message, share this live video to others who you think would find beneficial, share it to your page, and also be sure to connect if you need help. You're not alone. There's no weakness in terms of that. So 14 days to go, dear South Africans, if it is only 14. Reframe those thoughts. Every morning, wake up and reframe. Thank you for all your videos. Okay, I've got one comment here that I'm going to take. Thank you for all your videos. It certainly provides us with much direction and positivity. It's always uplifting listening to you. We face many challenges on a daily basis and sometimes find ourselves to overcome with fear. Oopsie, I need to turn this back very quickly. You are now seeing the opposite side. I'm going to turn that back. Okay, so on a daily basis and sometimes find ourselves overcome with fear and doubt, receiving all your motive. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, and that's what we're here for. You know, we have to cheer each other on. We have to, and I'm certainly here to do that for you all. I will be showing up on my live pages. I will be sharing lots of videos with you. I'm going to be sharing a whole lot of tips. Pravina, welcome. I'm going to be sharing a whole lot of tips with you. I'm going to be writing blog posts. I'm going to be connecting with you through several different media at this time, because we either need to cheer each other on, we need to cheer ourselves on, we need to have that positive self-talk, and we just need to get through this all together, right? We need to, because we're in it all together, we need to provide that mind power to ourselves. We're going to self-talk, we're going to use the energy from the sun, we're going to exercise, we're going to keep moving, we're going to keep learning, and we're going to do this all together. And I'm here to share a whole lot more with you soon. I may come like now, I've come on unannounced, so I may be doing impromptu lives, but it will always be saved on the page as a replay, so you can always catch it then and share, because that's the kind of energy that we need right now, not only in South Africa but for the entire world. So thank you for watching, thank you for the comments, and thank you for joining me this afternoon. And I'm hoping that you would share and you would actually keep all of these tips in mind. Be your best friend, because we all make mistakes, you know, but being in touch with ourselves and offering that gratitude every single day is what's going to make these days more meaningful. Until then, this is Krishangi Radhe, and thank you for joining.